Hello, viewers of Mosh Pit Passion. My name is Kaio. Right next to me, John and Doc of the amazing band Bad Wolfes, and we will talk about their new record, Disobey. So, John, I know when you played in Devil Driver, you were responsible for a lot of songwriting. You did the drums. You also contributed riffs. So, when it comes to Bad Wolfes, how did this work out, and how were your rehearsals back in the days?
How were the rehearsals and how did it work out? I would say the same as anyone like starting a band. I left Devil Driver. What you said was true. I was a big contributor to that band songwriting wise, so I took that skill that I had and I felt confident I could do another project. So I started from nothing, writing songs. Chris was the first to join, then Tommy, then you, then Kyle. It just kind of progressed that way, and the record got written. And then we just started rehearsing for our first show like any other band would. We put a video together and we just needed to announce ourselves to the world. And then from there, a lot of stuff happened.
A lot of stuff happened. That's a great, thorough answer.
Yeah, well, I mean, I answered the beginning of the question.
Yeah, I mean, I think with regard to the kind of rehearsal side of it, a lot of the material was really being put together more in a sense of a studio. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't a full band, so we had to kind of, when I joined the band, I felt my responsibility was to translate a lot of the stuff they had recorded into a live setting so that it would sound like a band and not just a recording.
Nice. But who got the idea of the zombie cover?
Tommy. That's all Tommy. He basically had that in his back pocket when he joined the band. And, at the time, I think it seemed a little, it was quite different from what we had musically, but by the time the album was completed, it seemed to make sense. Obviously it's definitely much more kind of on the mainstream side, but that was his brainchild, and it's kind of, I think, serendipity that the fact that our label owner used to manage the Cranberries, and Dan Waite, the guy who runs the UK section of 11/7, also had a relationship with Dolores and the family. So it was, some of these things. You don't want to say it's meant to be, but it's kind of interesting how sometimes how these things work out.
Nice, man. And what connection to the song is stronger? The topic about the political situation and religion, or unfortunately that Dolores died when you perform it? I pretty guess when you started to think about the cover, etc., there was a different, let me say, approach and different thinking than happened with Dolores, and unfortunately they died. Do you think about this kind of situation about the song? Is it like, no, because we wanted to release that song in this way and not that way, that it's just a bad mistake? You know what I mean?
I would say that I think poetry and the way a lot of songs are written is that people interpret it and how they're going to interpret it. And sometimes when you make a cover, it changes the context of the lyrics. A good example of this would be Johnny Cash covering Hurt by Nine Inch Nails. Yeah. When you look at the video for Hurt and take the lyrics against his life, what he went through, it means something completely differently. I think the fact that Dolores passed away, this song that is about political violence, takes on a different context of just loss, and the video we made put the center around the theme, because the only theme is really her and losing her and the original song. So now when we play the song live, you see it, people are crying, and people are, I think, not only tying it to maybe losing Dolores O'Riordan, but perhaps loss they've had in their life. So, and sometimes it's not logical, it's not a brain thing, it's just people feel the music how they're going to feel it, but it definitely has an extra level of depth, I think, than I want to say more so than the original, but in a different kind of way.
So how do you feel about that the song went platinum in Canada, USA, and even gold in Germany? Is it right?
Is it gold in Germany?
I just went diamond in Europe mainland. No, I
no?
don't know. Is it gold here? I don't know.
I saw some articles about it,
Okay.
but I don't know if it's a mistake.
It's not gold. We're gonna make it gold.
We're gonna make it gold.
Right.
It's had a lot of success, and how we feel about it is, it's just bittersweet because it came from a tragedy. But I'm sure everyone's aware at this point. All the proceeds go towards Dolores' 3 children, and so the bigger it becomes, the more of a sex story it is, that kind of helps out with more of the sweetness and then less of the bitter, you know. But for us, a band, it created a huge launch pad for us to get the rest of the record out to the world and more singles and stuff. So we can't really complain about it, to be honest. But that's kind of where we lie at this moment. And the single, we're kind of moving away from it now, but it still continues to just sell and do very well. So we're not in a position where we're trying to compete with that success whatsoever. It feels like a 1 in a million, billion, trillion thing that happens when a song gets this big. So we're just kind of day by day in it and enjoying the success of something like this as much as we can.
Nice. I want to talk about some songs of the new record, and one is example No Masters. I really like the song. Can you tell us what the story behind the track is?
Story behind the track was, I started writing it and the riff was just not very good. And so it was like, what's wrong with this? And then I just took the riff and cut the tempo in half, and then it just became this like, oh, maybe this could be like a Metallica thing. And then it was a goal of ours to always, to me, that's our like song that could be on the Black Album or something, like a riff like that. It was really hard to do. It's hard to write a riff that's slow and interesting in a rock way, so not like a breakdown, you know. So from there, this was like right when Doc entered the band, and then Doc was able to like help with some vocal ideas, and he created a vocal melody then that helped us change the verse riff. And then the chorus riff is a riff I wrote 16 or 15 years ago, just laying around. And it's like, it's funny how those basic riffs, if you have the right vocal melody, will come to launch out pretty good. And then Mr. Coyle wrote the solo.
Yeah, but then Zoltan, I had a different tag, and Zoltan gave me a note to fix that. So this is definitely one of those things you have to look at it like a sculpture, where you have a piece of, you know, wood or a piece of stone, you're chiseling it away, and we, you know, because I remember there was this pre-chorus section that we got rid of, and all of a sudden it made sense, and all these little things. But it was, I can't speak to all the songs because I wasn't there for a lot of the songs we've written, but I'd say this song was probably one of it took the most change from when it started to when it ended, and it's my favorite song on the album, and it's, you know, hopefully, you know, can set an example of maybe a style or direction to go in the future. I hope so.
Yeah, I think it's a really good track, and the work that we put into it shows, and we just knew that we just didn't want to fuck it up, because we knew that there was, when you listen to that riff and it's got that hypnotic thing, we're like, all right, like, let's make sure we get this right so we don't blow something that could be potentially really great. And I think we nailed it.
Nice. Yeah. The next song is Jesus Slaves. I want to talk about.
Oh yeah, that's my favorite song. Talk about picking up a guitar and writing a really stupid riff, like right off the top of your head, the boo da doo da doo da doo, but like, and you're like, wait a minute, like, maybe this isn't that stupid, and then we just started putting it together. Yeah, I think that encompasses a really funky side to the band, the verses, with a very modern midsection, very genty.
Yes, definitely.
It's technically flaunts what we're capable of in that song, which is, I think, was why I like it, because that's where we all kind of come from. And I think there's almost really not much screaming in the song, so that was also a huge accomplishment for us, to write something very technical heavy but no screaming, and it took a lot of work, but we got it done.
There's some screaming on it.
I said there's very little, like the verse and the chorus it's not built around screaming. It's like the hook is Jesus Slaves, that's about it, screaming. But in general, coming from our backgrounds, it was a challenge, but yeah.
It was also one of the later songs written, so I think the band seemed to improve the songwriting as the further along it went, and the kind of focus of what the sound of the band could be expanded, you know, and I think it was really exciting to see some of those later songs come together.
I agree. Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, we kind of were like, you know what, we should write one more heavy one, and then, but it's still not that heavy, but it is. I don't know. It's just cool, and I think it does show a focus. If you had heard some of the first songs are like Blood and Bones and Pacifica, which ended up being kind of the B-sides on this, so you can see where we started and kind of where it ended.
So yeah, we'll come back to the second part of our interview, and
we're back.
Inside this box there are many records, and just your simple task is to pick one record out and tell something what comes up in your mind.
All right, each one record each.
Yes.
All right, and we look through them on camera or what?
Just blind pick one.
Oh, blind pick. All right. Yeah. What if I don't know about it?
That was usually for Tommy. He's not here because...
I know all the stuff
he likes. Yeah.
That's Ginger.
Ginger, all I know about this band is a female-fronted band. They are a progressive style band that is very good.
Yes.
I know that my old singer, Dez, I believe, manages them, and they're going out on tour with Devil Driver.
Yeah.
So have fun out on the... Yeah, they're from
Ukraine.
Yeah, and I don't really listen to them, but everything I've heard, I'm like, good deal. I know Tommy really likes them.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of Ginger. I think they're one of the best newer bands. Usually, like people always, oh, what new bands you like? I think they're one of the coolest bands because there's a really cool, interesting, like he said, progressive kind of technical side to them, but they still know how to write hooks. And I think her voice, I think she could be successful in any genre of music. If she was doing pop music or anything, she's really captivating. So, you know, I have a girlfriend, but if I didn't have a girlfriend, I'd be like, yo, what's up, Ma? And she would say no. And then it'd be cool, though. But I support them, and I want them to do well.
So, yeah, nice. The next one.
Going in cold?
That's a good one.
This one?
Yeah, that's a good one.
Oh, this is a good one. Very good one.
Yes.
Let's see, we got
you got some history behind that band.
Yeah,
right?
I actually filled in on drums with this band, and Tommy actually sang for this band. This was this guy right here, Mikey
Lindstrait.
No, Mikey Doling. He was the first real successful musician I ever met that like came to our practice room and tried to give my old band a hand, and like started producing our demos and stuff. So this whole camp, and then eventually when Tommy joined him, Devil Driver, when I was in that band, we took them out on tour, and that's how I first met Tommy. So there's so much going on here with me and all these people. I love them all. So
me too. So Sonny Mayo and Tumor, their band they started after Snot 8 Men. My band, God forbid, our second tour ever was with them. So, and they showed us the ropes too on how to tour and how to conduct ourselves on stage. And you know, Mikey's always been super cool. So I actually never got to see Snot, the original lineup, but I would hear them on my local radio station all the time. So they were one of those bands that was just, you know, just seemed to be really, really unique and made an impact in a really small amount of time.
Yeah, I caught him live in '98 with Soulfly. It was great. And I got to meet Lynn twice, I think. Once.
By the way, there's an interesting connection between Five Finger Death Punch, Devil Driver, and Soulfly, because Logan Matter, he produced all kind of records of Five Finger, Devil Driver, and also Soulfly. It's interesting how this all...
he produced the Divine Heresy record.
Did he? Logan? I don't know.
I'm pretty sure Logan did.
Did he? Wow. Yeah. It's a small industry.
Sorry, but I'm pretty sure that Logan did that.
Yeah, but I fucking loved this record when it came out. So yeah, you're right, it was a good pick. It's a very good pick. Are we doing another one or what?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, you can. Yeah. Go for it. Going blind. What's he gonna whip out? Brings the heat. All right.
So yeah, Devil Driver, your old band.
Here's what I know about this record. Doc Coyle's not a fan of this album.
No.
Now I remember you're like, out of all your work, you think this is your least favorite. This is the first album that we did. A lot of people, I think actually, especially in Germany, a lot of people really like this album. It was a very crazy, special time where it was just my first record I did anything professionally, and it came out and it did well, and we did a bunch of cool tours. And I think I'd agree with Doc. It's not really my musical favorite, but it was definitely an introduction and one I would never forget.
What is your favorite record of the Devil Driver period?
Either The Last Kind of Words or Beast.
Yeah, Last Kind of Words. Nice.
Yeah, good album. Cool artwork. Paul Brown did the artwork. I just like the colors.
Had a sheet laid out and had spilled some coffee on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's true. Yeah, I like the crow with the X. You know, come on. See, yeah. Yeah, we outcrowed you.
Did you get a copy of this reissue on vinyl? They came out last.
Yeah, I heard they reissued a bunch
something.
of them. Yeah, no, I didn't get to go buy them.
BMG re-released them.
Yeah, I heard. Yeah, it's pretty cool stuff.
He's the same guy who did the video, right?
Paul Brown. Yeah, that was a cool video. Yeah, it was. Cool times.
So yeah, let's do one last record.
You get it in there.
Oh yes.
Alright, there we go.
Oh, I got.
Boom, see?
See, what? Where do we start? Here.
I think that's one of the most influential records all the
What
time.
happened here, buddy?
I saw this record on a flea market, and it just cost $1, and I know why. Because
Someone was feeling like, is that Cliff? Yeah, someone was feeling Cliff so much they cut him out of the vinyl. I don't
He's
know.
got the statement shot.
Yeah, I know. That was I think that was Day on the Green, Oakland. I could be wrong. Not sure. But yeah, if you can see someone cut out Cliff on the back. What is this?
This I would say.
Roadrunner.
If you were to talk about the greatest, this is considered to be the best album of all time from like the critics officially. But it's like, is it? I feel like the situation sometimes when something is considered to be the best, you kind of after a while you're like, is it? You say, like, is it the best? Because you listen to it so much. It's so. I think the thing about this record is that there's no bad parts of it. Like even the best record, you're like, oh, that one part, but this is just flawless. There's nothing that you used to say.
Yeah, I was like, you're gonna say there's not one bad part. Like I was kind of underselling it, but
Well, no, but I'm saying, but the absence of a negative, right, helps your case.
yeah, there's not one bad song. To me, it's a flawless record, and it's my favorite Metallica record, and I think it's the best thrash, if you call it thrash. Like,
Thrash, yeah.
I don't know, it's just the best metal record of all time. I mean, in my opinion, I'd have to throw it up there, at least top 3.
Like, we'll see. I would go. See, a lot of people say, what? You got Rain and Blood.
That wouldn't be in my top 3.
You got Rust in Peace. You got.
That Rust in Peace and Far Beyond Driven are probably my top 3 like classic favorites.
Take,
Okay, buddy. But back to this one, we were in Denmark one time, and I got to go to we got to meet Fleming, the producer of this record. We just like looked it up in the phone booth, the phone book, Sweet Silent Studios, and he answered the phone and said, "Can we come on down?" And we went down and we talked to him, and he just gave us all these stories about recording it. And
Did you know Devil Driver?
I don't think so. Maybe he had heard of us, but that's why it was so cool that he was like, "Come on down." We're like, cool. And I saw the artwork for this. He has framed without the Metallica on it.
Yeah.
Just a bunch of cool shit.
He had the original thing.
Yeah, I think so. That was him. Or he has a copy of it, but I just never seen it like that, you know. And he had some other stuff. Just cool shit you don't see.
Did an EP called the Better Days EP that was slightly inspired by this, but it's actually because it was a gravestone with a cross, but it was in like a snow globe, which was actually, it looks like this, but it's actually inspired by the movie The Crow. The bad guy has a snow globe with a graveyard in it. That's what it was actually. So people probably think we're ripping off Master Puppets. In fact, it's The Crow.
Boom.
Still stupid.
So yeah, guys, unfortunately our time is running out. And I want to ask you one last question, and because our magazine is called Mosh Pit Passion, our artists and musicians are saying their first or last mosh pit experience from a musician view or personal view. Do you got a cool story to tell, maybe?
My first or last? Yeah.
I can tell you mine. No, I don't even have to think about it. Last time I was really in a mosh pit was at the New England Hardcore Metal Festival in 2003 and I was back by the bar. All right, and I don't think I was actually even playing. I think I was just visiting, just to have fun. I was in the back, and I heard Meshuggah playing New Millennium Cyanide Christ, and I was like, "Hey, dog, hold my beer. I'll be right back." Punching everyone in the face. It was amazing. That was the last time, because I had an experience a few years earlier where I was, because came up from the hardcore scene, and I was dancing for my friend's band, and I hit my hand, and I had to play later, and my hand got messed up, and I got scared, so I was like, I can't mosh anymore.
All right. In '98, I went and saw VOD in Sepultura, and I didn't make it very long because I just was moshing, and I looked at my arm, and I just had blood all over my arm. So I was like, well, I must have hit somebody in the nose, and then I went to go wipe off the blood in the bathroom, and someone's front teeth were stuck right in my elbow. What? Yeah, and I was like, ugh. And then I got real nauseous, and I had to sit down, and then the ambulance came to take the other guy away, and then they just cleaned me up, and they said, you're probably going to get real sick because the human mouth is real dirty. And I did. I got Sepultura was doing 2 nights at the House of Blues, so they gave me tickets to the next show in L.A. And then I got sick. I got a fever, 101 or something, so I was out, didn't make it to the next show. There you go.
So guys, thank you very much for the interview.
Yeah.
And if you want to share or say anything to our fans, to our viewers, you can do it now.
Disobey out now. Go check it out if you like rock and metal. We're the ones for you. And we're already writing for a second record, so it's coming out. Just stay tuned. That's all you got to do.
What he said. BadWolvesNation.com. Follow us on social media. And we're hoping to be back to Europe next year. Maybe with a new album. Who knows when it'll come out, but definitely 2019. We'll be back and new music.
Thank you.
Yeah, sure. Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Freunde, ich hoffe, euch hat das Interview gefallen. Damit ihr keine Videos verpasst, abonniert unseren Channel. Auf unserem Kanal findet ihr noch weitere interessante Interviews mit namhaften Bands. Schaut euch auch auf unserer Facebook-Seite herum, wo wir exklusiven Content wie interessante Beiträge, Konzertfotos oder Videos uploaden. Auf unserer Webseite www.moshpitpassion.de findet ihr CD-Reviews, Konzertfotos, Konzertberichte, Interviews und vieles mehr.